Hello there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time for Ben, very nice guy. And he wanted me to do a commentary on Uncommon Valor, which I could easily say is one of my favorite films. And it came out in 1983. And I'm glad it finally got a Blu-ray release from Paramount. I will say though, it's fucking lazy on everything. Like, you can't have the original poster, you gotta have the DVD cover. And even the menu is literally this picture. Not even the whole picture, just the picture. Imagine this, that's the menu. There's no extras, not even a trailer, not a TV spot, nothing. There's just settings, scenes, and play. So, well, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. As we got Paramount. Nowadays they're a pair of pricks. I'm still glad they released this on Blu-ray. At least there's that, but at least there's that. I can't really say I'm that surprised there's no special features because no one ever talks about this film. I mean, who's going to talk about this picture, honestly? Sadly. Gene Hackman is retired. He barely comes out to talk about anything. Patrick Swayze has passed away. But maybe Ted Kotcheff? Maybe he has something to say? Randall Tetz Cobb? Tim Thomerson? I mean... Now, this is a film directed by Ted Kotcheff, and I apologize for me clearing my throat. My throat gets dry very easily, so I apologize. But Ted Kotcheff, before this, directed First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. And that was 1982, so this came out a year after. And afterward, he had a couple projects. One was Switching Channels with Burt Reynolds and Christopher Reeve, and that was pretty much a flop. And then had surprising success with a film called Weekend at Bernie's in the late 80s. And after that, you didn't really see much of Ted Kotcheff, which is too bad. Because First Blood, this, Weekend at Bernie's, all three films I love. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think this is one of the most underrated films of all time. And I've talked to people, like shown this to people online, and each time they're like, wow, this is really good. I'm like, yeah. I think my friend Michael CP, he saw it. He might have, I'm not sure if he saw it under my recommendation, but he said when he saw it, he teared up at the end. I've gotten comments from other people. My friend Michael Teen, who's on here as the Choice Voice YouTube channel, he really enjoyed it. He loved it. And one of the reasons is, number one, the cast is fantastic. I mean, in the helicopter there, we saw Fred Ward, who would be in Tremors. We got Randall Tetz Cobb. And we got Reb Brown. Of course, this is, as we'll come to find out, the sons of Gene Hackman and Robert Stack. Gene Hackman was rescuing him and just inches away from rescue. And you see in the back there why they had to leave in this shot here. Really beautiful helicopter shot. You got that damaged helicopters. Very nice wide shot. Now, this came out in 1983, and I first saw this way back in the day on VHS. I actually gave it to my mom because she's a big fan of this movie. So, yeah, she still uses VHS at times. But grew up with this film. It just, to me, a very touching, heartfelt story with an excellent cast, very funny humor that is relatable and really characterizes the people in this movie as fun human beings. But at the same time, there's heartbreak at the end. And this is done the right way, the correct way. Again, my opinion. And here we have Gene Hackman, who I think is one of the best actors out there. I mean, it's sad that he's retired, but it's understandable. He's in his 80s. He can't make movies forever. So, but man, Gene Hackman, I've never seen him give a bad performance. The movie might not be great, but it's always excellent, whether it be the French Connection films. I actually prefer the second one. Loose Cannons I like. Enemy of the State. Yeah, this right here showcases what kind of movie this is and how effective it is. Just, yeah, his son disappears, and now there's no one there. And then the clenching of the fist. And without, Gene Hackman saying a word, he's able to showcase the loss of his son or his missing son. It's right there. It just disappeared from his grasp. And James Horner is another big part. This to me is one of James Horner's best, most underrated scores. Man, I love the score he did for Aliens, but this one I think is fantastic. And it doesn't sound like films he did previously. And I especially love the softer moments. Now maybe later on he would kind of take elements of this. I can't remember what they are though. But yeah, I love James Horner's score. I think especially in the action sequences as well as the emotional sequences fits perfectly. Now, of course, Gene Hackman is this father who's just desperate to find any info on his son. And a lot of people giving him false hope and just taking his money. Check out my friend Michael Keane, the Choice Voice, his review. He mentioned some of the stuff, like that scene with the hand and Patrick Swayze, may rest in peace. To him. Harold Sylvester. He's supposed to get like a real signature. That's what he's looking at. And this guy just pays him money and is a fucking bullshit. Like, I want more money. And just completely ripped him the fuck off. Probably not even a signature there. Yep. But I mean, this is a guy looking for his son. He's willing to take the risk. But there would be assholes that do that. See, that's a real moment there. That's a real moment. And pretty much this is a little, I don't want to say montage, but just showcasing him desperately trying to find a way to get his son back. The upper echelons don't want to talk to him, don't want to give him the time of day, they don't want to deal with it. Because they're fucking assholes. And this might be the first film to deal with POWs in Vietnam. If this is a film before this, let me know. But because Rambo, like that, it's a more different feel. But Rambo 2 was 85. Missing Action was after this. 84, 85, give or take. Might have been 84. But this is 83. And I think this came out December of 83. And I think it did okay based on the budget. I think it did okay. It just wasn't a big hit. And yeah, John Milius, producer, who had gone... Well, I think at this point he had directed Conan the Barbarian. He would direct Red Dawn in the 80s. But... And yeah, showcasing this sort of montage of him just trying desperately, going fast enough so we don't get bored, but at the very least being understandable. It's not confusing. I do think there was stuff cut out of this movie, though. I do think that just much later on, there's a bit where it's like this is after he's gotten his son's men and such, and they've done their training, and now they're building up to go on their mission. They're like in the middle of a fight, and Gene Hackman's pissed between them. I think there's like a TV version where there's more scenes. Because I know there's more to it than that. Because it's just too abrupt of a cut of an edit. Red Brown. Red Brown, he's probably most famous. I mean, he was in the 1970s Captain America TV movies, which I'm guessing they wanted to make into a TV show. But I guess, I don't know if they just were not successful enough to create a TV show, or maybe they changed their mind in making a TV show, but I would say this is Red Brown's best performance, because usually in movies, the way he's utilized, whether it be what's that movie that was on there's a movie on not Saturday Night Live, Mystery Science Theater 3000, I forget what the fuck it was called now. Or like you have, I cannot believe I'm blanking out on the guy's movies. Like really bad films, or fun bad films like Strike Commando, where he yells a lot. Ah! But his acting was a bit stilted, like in Cage with Lou Ferrigno, or God, what was the fucking fantasy movie he did that was like a crappy version of Conan? Your Hunter from the Future. Your Hunter of the Future, that was pretty bad. But he's pretty solid here. And pretty much this is a bit of Gene Hackman getting his son's buddies. And I thought, again, I like that idea that, these are people that are doing okay with their lives, but they decide to join up for for a better cause, to get those men out. So we recruited Red Brown. Now we're getting to Fred Ward as Wilkes. Interesting character when you find his backstory about how he was what they call a sewer rat. And at one point he's in the sewers. Well, not sewers, but he's underground. And while being underground, there's something there and he kills it. And I think it's like a kid, but he didn't know that because it's dark, and if you don't strike first, you may die. So that's why throughout the film he's absolutely claustrophobic. And this build-up where he is damaged, I mean, and the wife is trying. Like, the wife loves him. He's like, she's tired of, not tired, but she hates what happened to him. And I thought Fred Ward did a really good job with this. I mean, he was being the right stuff, and I mentioned Tremors, a film called Cast a Deadly Spell, Chain Reaction, but definitely one of his best roles. I thought these characters had such wonderful chemistry between all of them. And again, this is just such an underrated cast. Like, they all have their personalities, and Fred Ward, Red Brown, Randall Tex Cobb, very different individuals on each one. There's not one that's similar to the other. And they seem like they like each other. They care for each other. You really feel that bond, which makes what happens in the third act heartbreaking at points because they don't all make it out. Then here we're getting to the Tim Thomersons with his sunglasses. Yet another, great character actor who would later be in the Transfers movies and mainly known for the Transfers films, Dollman vs. Demonic Toys, and that type of stuff. He had a big role in Air America, I believe, and I believe you miss a role in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This is one of those films that just to me is so fucking criminally underrated that it deserves so much fucking more love and so many more people should talk about this. It deserves so much more. Like, that's why I get mad when I see some of these horrible fucking movies that just get the fucking pass, even if they're purposely horrible, like The Room. Oh, we don't have all these patch showings of The Room. Fuck that. Let's have patch showings of this movie. That's completely getting forgotten and swept under, but so fucking underrated. Fuck The Room. Fuck Neil Breen movies. And those are, the ridiculous to me. See those glasses? He hasn't taken off those glasses. But now he does. And here's Harold Sylvester. See, I mean, if there were TV versions that had more footage, why can't that be on the Blu-ray? I would love to see them. Or see them incorporated into another cut of the film, in addition to having this cut. But no, we can't have that type of stuff. Why I waste fucking money on 4-hour Justice League cut? Sorry, that's just my opinion. This movie kisses shit out of something like Justice League. But I mean, of course, the day and age of superheroes. What can you say? If you're into that movie, that's fine. I'm just not. I much prefer a movie like this. And like I was saying, like, Gene Hackman is such a great actor. And he was doing films from The Conversation. I mentioned, The French Connection. French Connection Part 2, like I said, I liked even more than the first one. Because I like the whole thing of Popeye Doyle being put up with drugs and then having to go cold turkey. I thought that was a really interesting acting performance by Gene Hackman. And like I said, Loose Cannons I have fun with. A lot of people don't like that one. Even a film that's okay, like The Package, Gene Hackman is really good in it. Bat 21, Enemy of the State, Superman, of course, Lex Luthor. He's not bad in Superman 4, just everything else. There's Robert Stack, who would be the host of Unsolved Mysteries. I would say that's his biggest claim to fame. That and being an Airplane, the first Airplane. Robert Stack's son, the character in this, also is missing in action. Nice job of the director, established the picture. So, oh yeah, that's the guy we saw at the beginning of the film. So that was his son too, that Gene Hackman's son was trying to rescue. And Robert Stack is pretty much the money man. And Randall Tetz-Cobb is Sailor. This guy is fucking crazy character, but such a fun character, man. Fun fucking character. Some bitch came in with a grenade around his neck. And his dialogue here, I've stolen quite a few times coming up. If you ever see the film, you'll recognize some of this. If you see my videos, you'll recognize some of this dialogue. It's mainly here. Man, I'm so far beyond that shit now. I eat energy from the air. I talk to polar bears. I converse with paramecium. Man, I fuck nuclear waste. It's such a crazy dialogue that it's memorable. And Randall Tetz-Cobb just played that perfectly. And sadly, he didn't really get much roles after this. I mean, there was a bit in Raising Arizona and among other films, but really nothing substantial after this. I mean, I guess Raising Arizona you would say is substantial, but just disappointing. Now, this guy in the yellow jumpsuit at the plane, putting the bags in, that's Michael Dukoff. That is a young Michael Dukoff. I think we'll see him again. But yeah, the guy who jumpsuit, that is Michael Dukoff. Again, it really showcases the love these characters have with each other. And Tim Towers and Harold Sylvester. This guy won't last 10 minutes there without me. Yeah, these guys taking the pictures. Yeah, this guy in the yellow jumpsuit by the airplane, you don't see his face, but that's Michael Dukoff. And other people have mentioned it online. So yeah, I mean, that Michael Dukoff. Because when they said Blaster's assistant, I thought, is he in the scene with the beach like the first time? No. I guess they call him Blaster's assistant because he helped put the bags on the plane. So, got the 5 guys and a recreation of the POW camp. Which is a pretty cool idea that, hey, we're going to test this out so we can get in there and done. And if you have a guy rich like Robert Stack's character, why not do that? And here we are, our final, Patrick Swayze. Which you come to find out is whose father was missing in action in Vietnam. And we are 6 men. I think you just look at this cast, that's fantastic. And a very young Patrick Swayze. I mean, this is the start of his career. Where he would go on to be in Dirty Dancing, Steel Dawn, Roadhouse, Red Dawn. Well, Red Dawn before that. Roadhouse, Ghost, Black Dog. I mean, And even in this, role, like early role, Swayze showed that he had such talent as an actor. And you just see why he would become a star. And it's so sad what happened to him with cancer. Getting cancer. It just really fucking shame. Because I remember hearing about that and being really saddened because I grew up with films like this and Ghost and I didn't grow up with Roadhouse as much as others, but I did like Roadhouse. But I would say this and Ghost are probably the two Patrick Swayze films I saw the most growing up, and enjoyed both of them. And Gene Hackman sells it where he's a commander to these men, but he's still a father who wants desperately to get his son back. And he definitely brings that stature of you would want to follow this guy. Not only to so they get their friend back, but it's Gene fucking Hackman. He's gonna follow. Why not follow him? You cost too much, and you didn't turn a profit. That's why they won't go back to pick up our buddies. There's no gain in it. Actually, that sounded more truthful than you may want to think. They've been negotiating for 10 years. Well, you know what? The other side's not buying it. While the politicians sit on their asses and won't ask you to lay yours on the line. Again, who wrote... It says Joe Dayton, but I know also Wayne Hauser. Yes, the actor, Wayne Hauser. His name is brought about in either coming up with the story or writing the script. One or the other. Maybe even both. And Wayne is a good actor. If he had him writing this, that's pretty impressive in my opinion. Of course, the train begins. Y'all dead. Not all of them. And that's what I mean, like, they do something where each person has their own moments. Like, Sailor still sleeping through all that. Fred Ward's character, okay, why is he outside? That gets into later. And then Tim Thomerson just not hitting the fucking tree. Just the top, the bottom, just missing every fucking shot. And then Swayze just... This is a younger character who is just and Sailor just a powerhouse. Look how he chops into that fucking thing. And Swayze, I guess you could call him the rookie in this. I like the editing between these two. Back and forth, back and forth. And he quits, and then Sailor, he does this, but he has a good point. There you go. You never quit. That one is for real. And this is, Swayze's character is a character that can... I like what they do with his character, because he can hold his own, but he does showcase in the field that he is still a rookie, and seeing actual warfare and people dying, it does affect him. But they don't go too over the top melodramatic with it. And then this friction between him and Sailor, because he shows Swayze doing this stuff, it showcases why this friction will come to a head later on in that fight, so it doesn't come out of the blue. I didn't. You building up this friction between the two, which will lead into later on. You know, it worked out. I did. That shows, you know, good direction, good writing. And in a worse movie, they would just made Swayze's character like the bad guy, or like not a bad movie. I mean, they would have made him like Gorman in Aliens, which I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm just saying another movie they would have made him like that, but they don't, which I appreciate. I think this here we hear a little bit about why he's claustrophobic. Weapon storage, tunnel rat. I said sewer rat, I meant tunnel rat, not sewer rat. Sewer rat, yeah. He's trapped in there. There's bodies. Some woman and her kid. But there's no way for him to know. Stay down there with two corpses while they dig them out. Because a mortar... I mean, again, it makes you understand the character a bit more. And then each person gets their moments to shine, especially like this with Red Brown. In today's lessons, boys and girls, we're going to set a series of, or break. And just the way of explaining, like, okay, you gotta make the scene where you gotta explain to them about bombs and a cluster of bombs and series of bombs and mines. How do we do that but make it entertaining? Here's a way to do it. Boom! And then showing them how to do a series of bombs. Set their ass on fire, bomb! The bounce of baby blows the balls off. That's what I mean, like, you're explaining it, but you can put a little bit of humor, but it's not too over the top. And it comes into play later with this series of bombs. You know, it comes into play later at the end of the flick. And this movie goes at a good pace. I mean, 30 minutes in already, and it's an hour and 44 minute movie. So, a little over an hour left. This is another great moment between Gene Hackman and Fred Ward, where he shares his nightmares too. Again, James Horner's score really helps with the scene, and Gene Hackman just sells these lines of dialogue. He really does. I think the last film he was in was Welcome to Mooseport with Ray Romano. I think this is a line coming up with, you know, they never went away, but I finally made friends with them. I love this piece of music during the training scene. James Horner did a fantastic job. I swear, in the film Thou Shalt Not Kill Except, the composer of that took this piece of music for when the soldiers get their guns and like they're having fun shooting stuff. Cause it's almost like a version of this. As like Fred Ward character hunting them down one by one, but how do we make it fun? Red Brown. Oh shit, I'm dead. Wiped out. So that's what I mean. It's humor, it's levity, but it's not that silly, goofy, or goofy, you know. History. And putting these signs on them, showing like different words of showcasing they're dead. And these like ex-rookie. I love Tim Thomas's reaction. Fuck, man. You see? Because you got careless. You got caught. Because you got careless. But yeah, it's like scenes like that make you like the characters more, so that when that happens in the third act, makes it that much more heartbreaking. Sailor took red wine and uppers and just sail away. He always said if life got too shit, he'd just pull the pin on the grenade and see what happens next. And then this song, Sunshine of Your Love. Okay, the more proper Patrick Swayze's character and the more rambunctious, fun characters here. I don't know what Tim Thompson was trying to do with this move. Was like trying to do the swim or something? I think the thing is like Tim Thomerson, I think he was a stand-up comic early in his career before going to acting. Of course, this scene here would be for the end credits as well. But yeah, for years and years, this film didn't get a fucking Blu-ray. And again, I knew it would get nothing when it finally did, and it didn't. I mean, not even a fucking trailer, not a fucking interview. Like, come on now, man. You tell me there's no one willing to talk about this film? Really? No one? But I mean, to be fair, I did have bitched a long time about, I wish this film would get a Blu-ray. And at least that did happen, so there you go. And the picture quality's not too bad. I mean, for a film from 1983, yeah, it's not too bad picture quality. It really isn't. It was pretty decent in my opinion, but again, I'm not an aficionado when it comes to that. But like I said, after this, you would get a lot more of these sort of POW movies. I'm trying to remember, like, what was the first Vietnam movie? Or the first movie to deal with Vietnam? Because 83, this is pretty soon after that. Because later on, you'd get a ton more of these Vietnam films. Not just the POW films, like Missing Action, Rambo First Blood Part 2. But you would get films like Platoon, Hamburger Hill, Casualties of War, Full Metal Jacket, 84 Charlie Moped, and more so. Asshole, we were there, not you. And yeah, Swayze's character just desperate to prove something. And you find out a little bit of why that is, because his dad was missing in action. And maybe he thinks if they do this, maybe somehow he'll find his dad. And you do get to see a little bit of Swayze's martial arts, which you would see, of course, in films like Roadhouse and Steel Dawn. You just bought the whole can of whoop ass. Nice takedown. But Rhino Test Cobb has some good moves too. Nice wide shots. There you go. A little close up there. That martial bullshit is gonna get real expensive. Get nice, pretty nice tits for a big guy like Randall Tets Cobb. Especially like going around and to the back of the head. And a roundhouse kick? I mean, for a big guy like that, not many of them do a roundhouse kick. Ooh. And there you go. That's where you find out why that's the case. And immediately they understand. No jaw jacking. Boom, there you go. I will look up trivia, but there's really not much trivia to talk about because no one ever talked about this movie. It's fucking sad. And, and then the dad here, I guess, really is trying to think, like, what would he look like 10 years since? And that's why he's drawing these things. Like, what would he look like 10 years older? It's also interesting to see all this stuff. Like, this is what we want to do. This is what we plan to do. Like, we want to plan to do this, 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 and this. And just how those plans just do not come up because of, circumstances. And they seem like they have a well-oiled machine. Like, you do this, we do this, we do this. Boom, we get out of there, we ride off to the sunset. But then it's like they're not there, and they're somewhere else, and we need to get the helicopters and all that stuff. And now and in 3 minutes, that doesn't happen. That does not happen at all. And that's sort of the thinking, is that you're doing negotiations for 10 years. How many people died in the midst of those 10 years stranded as POWs? That's the thing. And, don't want to take that into consideration. And Robert Statt's like, I don't give a fuck what happens to my company. I just want my son. And then you hear Robert Stat just saying, fuck you. This is an interesting conversation too, because this really doesn't come into play that. By the way, we have to remember these people could be shattered physically or emotionally. They may not want to leave. They might not even speak English because they're so used to another language after 10 years. And then showing here the efficiency of they're able to do it, but sadly things don't always work out the way we want to. I am seeing what's on Wikipedia, if anything, for this. It says they're not gonna have any no features on the fucking Blu-ray. Boom. Nice practical explosions there. Nicely done. So while this is happening, some stuff on Wikipedia. The film began with a screenplay by actor Wings Hauser, who says he was inspired by the stories of a childhood friend, Gary Dickerson, who had been in Vietnam. I saw that he had left something behind in Vietnam and that triggered the whole thing. And then I became aware of the MIA and the POW situation and said, well, that will be the excuse to go back to Vietnam and get the POWs. What they're really going back for is their own clarity and their own integrity, right? And that's the story. That's the whole film. It took 18 months to write the script, which he sold to Paramount. The film had at least 5 title changes, including Last River to Cross. Uncommon Valor, I think, is a better title. John Milius became attached to the producer. No, he became attached as producer. The script was rewritten by Joe Dayton. Hauser lost credit in arbitration. Huh. He lost credit? In 1989, Wings Hauser says, John Milius is a scumbag right-wing bastard. I can't wait for the day he dies. That son of a bitch. The other guy who got the credit, he was a punk. I don't think he sold anything since than I have, and he's a joke. Well, I mean, if he's the big reason why this strip works, and, if Joe Dayton, yeah, you rewrite it, but if you change just a couple scenes, like, how much did he rewrite? Paramount sent Joe Dayton's script to Ted Kotcheff late January 1983. The following month, it came out that James Gritz, a former lieutenant colonel in Green Berets, had led a secret mission into Laos the previous November to search for MIA American soldiers, which ended when they were ambushed by Laotian soldiers. We avoided anything in our story similar to Gritz. There were 30 groups training for similar missions at the time. John Milius wrote 2 or 3 scenes as well as making a number of very creative suggestions on the script. Among the scenes Milius wrote included one where Hackman gives a speech to the other soldiers about Vietnam being like a company that's gone bankrupt. Oh yeah, I talked about that. It was a wonderful speech. Milius did write under pressure, but mainly he functioned as a producer. John Milius, the producer, wanted James Arness to play the lead role rather than Gene Hackman. Well, I'm sorry, I think Gene Hackman was a lot better choice. Filming started in June 1983. The climax of the film was built on a private ranch in the Lomahai Valley on the island, in Hawaii. Was filmed in early August 83. The opening scene, which takes place in Vietnam, was shot 2 miles from central Hanalei, Hawaii. Some parts of the film were shot in Salt Lake City, Utah, Sun Valley, California, and Castaic, California, which served as the training camp. Paramount had originally prepared an advertising campaign that was factual and rather somber and centered on the plight of prisoners of war. However, after the marketing department saw the film, they decided to create an entirely new campaign. They showed a soldier slung over a friend's back and the copy line, "Come on, buddy, we're going home." We were looking to appeal to males on an emotional level. We were offering them an attainable fantasy. We all like to think that we can be heroes, that we can leave our jobs and families to do something really terrific for our friends. I can understand that, honestly. Now it says here the film was a box office hit. This was considered a surprise at the time because of the film's lack of stars. Well, Gene Hackman's a star. It had to compete with Starface and Sudden Impact. The film was successful because of the emotional impact of the ending. The emotional ending really makes you feel terrific. Ted Kotcheff said, "If we knew the secret of a film's success, we'd all be very wealthy. But I think it's partly the strong emotional tug of the father-son relationship." It made like $30 million, so it made money, so that even makes it even crazier. Like, why no one talks about the film? No one mentions the film? What the fuck? I don't understand. After this, Ted Kotcheff did a film called Joshua Then Now, then switching channels, Winter People, Weekend at Bernie's, Folks, The Shooter, which I think The Shooter is with Michael Dukoff? No, Dolph Lundgren. Oh yeah, that's right, that Dolph Lundgren movie. No wonder I forgot about that. Family of Cops with Charles Bronson. And Borrowed Hearts. And that's the last film he directed in 1997. Now this guy, I don't know who this guy is, the bald guy here. He always came off as funny to me. I don't know what it is, just... I don't want to put an old soldier like you in jail. This team is crazy. Shit. Just something about his acting. I don't know what it is. They're waiting for your ass there. See? And then boom. Randall Ted's Cobb and Harold Sylvester are in the middle of a fight. I guarantee you there's something more to this scene. There's easily something more to this scene. And it's like, what were they fighting about? I swear there was a TV cut that had it, but I couldn't find the shit. Again, it'd be really awkward edit like two people in the middle of a fight. Like, what the fuck? I mean, there has to be something more to that. Again, I don't know who the hell that guy... Who that guy would have been. The money McGregor gave us. Guess we're not getting paid. I love this moment. Buy it or steal it. Steal the fucker. I love that. Steal the fucker. 6.4 on IMDb, to me, it should be a lot fucking higher than that. A lot fucking higher. It says here Patrick Swayze replaced James Remar, who was in The Warriors, 48 Hours. To me, for the better, because I don't mind James Remar, but I think Patrick Swayze worked out a lot better. Of course, Patrick Swayze would work with producer John Milius on Red Dawn, which Milius directed. And as our men are here, you know, getting the guns and then trying to find people to lead them into Vietnam. it did more preparations for this journey, for this battle. Damn, just firing guns right in the fucking club, right in the fucking bar. Fuck is this guy like sitting on the guy behind them? What the fuck is he? He's holding like a stick and he's like fanning himself. Oh, it's a gun, not a stick. I guess that's the watchman. Just anyone have any ruckus? Oh, I just saw someone shooting a gun in the air. You didn't do anything. So this guy dealt with drugs. This character. Get some weapons and gonna take them in there. I keep forgetting this guy has a fucking bird on his shoulder. I love this menu. Of course, they don't have much money, so they get the poor man's group of weapons. $5,000. That's a good deal. 3,000. That's a good fucking deal. 3,000, man. I was looking up Gene Hackman, just looking up films he's done. I mean, The French Connection, you have The Poseidon Adventure, Conversation. Young Frankenstein is the blind man. Mentioned the Superman movies, Uncommon Valor. After the same year, he was in Eureka and Under Fire. Then he did a film called Misunderstood, which I never even heard of. Like, a lot of these films I never heard of, like Misunderstood, Twice in a Lifetime. Yeah, never heard of these movies. 1985, a film called Target. Oh, with Matt Dillon, that's right. Hoosiers, No Way Out, Bat 21. He was in a film called Split Decisions. Boxing movie. Mississippi Burning, 1988. That's a definite good, solid movie. Narrow Margin, great thriller. Unforgiven, with Clint Eastwood. The Villain and the Quick and the Dead. Crimson Tide. The Bird. That's right. I forgot he was in The Birdcage. Extreme Measures, underrated film. Enemy of the State. The Replacements. That's a fun comedy. Behind Enemy Lines. Yeah, Welcome to Mooseport was his last film. Fucking shit. I don't hate that movie, but it's just like, that's his last film. Now, Fred Ward, I mean, this is very early in his career. I mean, before this, he was in Southern Comfort. Tried to be a star in Time Rider, which was a lame, boring movie. Then, the same year he did this, he was in The Right Stuff. And then Fred Ward would be in Remo Williams. Second chance to be a star. I love Remo Williams, but sadly that film did nothing. Miami Blues. Films I haven't heard of. The Hitchhiker. Oh, that's an episode. Euphoria. This sounds familiar. Naked Gun 33 and the Third. That's right. Tremors. Tremors 2 Aftershocks. I'm trying to see like, what else he's done. He was in an episode of True Detective in 2015. He was an Admiral in Two Guns. I forgot about that. The Major in 30 Minutes or Less. Episodes of In Plain Sight, Leverage, Armored. He was in that. Feast of Love. Funky Monkey. Fuck is that? Yeah. Fucking lame. Not a lot of good roles after a certain point of time. Then Randall Tets Cobb, he actually had a boxing career. 42 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. Interesting. He made a brief return to kickboxing in 1984. Huh. And of course, this whole bit with Tim Thomerson, at least they did that character. At least some characters did a little bit of something to them, like Tim Thomerson with one of these girls here, and then Patrick Swayze realizing that, you know, you're playing for it, but that doesn't mean reality's going to be the same way. But acting-wise, Randall Tits Cobb, after this, he'd be in The Golden Child, of course, Critical Condition, Raising Arizona, Police Academy 4, Fletch Lives, Collision Course, Blind Fury. I forgot he was in Blind Fury. Ernest Goes to Jail. So yeah, he was in a couple, roles after this, now that I think about it. I mean, nothing starring-wise, but yeah, The Golden Child, I remember him in, yeah. Critical Condition. Ernest Goes to Jail. He played a good role in that. He was at the very beginning of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And then, after 94, he was in something called The Mouse in 96. Blinking You Miss a Row and Liar Liar. The Next 10 in 98. And then Vice in 2000. So from 96 2000, like 4 roles. Teeny tiny roles. And yeah, he was in an episode The X-Files, episode Walter Texas Ranger. 2 episodes of Walter Texas Ranger, playing 2 different roles. See, just not much acting roles after a certain point in the 90s, which is sad. Of course, by this point, they're being brought into where they need to go, and the hiccups along the way. Here's Swayze killing someone for real, and it's not the same. And they give like little character moments like that, but not too long. Step out of it, let's get to it. Not long enough to make you go, come on, you stupid idiot, but enough to be, okay, that seems like a little real moment. And not all of them are going to be safe. Boom. And there you go, another strong woman. This girl here who's going to have the affection of Tim Thomerson, that's a strong female. But again, no one wants to bring that up because it's only been sexist. Oh yeah, what about this girl here? Not the dead one, but more guys die in the movie than girls, folks. But this girl here, I forget her name. They do tell at the end of the movie. This is one of those movies they give like each one a title card. One RPG, 6 grenades. Lost some of their supplies. But I like that you have a real moment. Like, it's not just blasé, who cares. Do I know that character at all? No, but the characters did, and their reaction is what makes that work. And this is where our, team is going to split up, and they don't really get to see each other. Some till the end of the movies, others really never at the end. One's going to get the planes, the other's going to set things up for the camp. I think Gene Hammond does a really good job, so as he says lines of Julius Caesar. In the end be known. And if we meet again, well then we'll smile. And if not, then this party was well made. And yeah, you have that little look between Randall, Ted Cobb, and Swayze, like sort of signaling, hey, good luck. A little moment between Red Brown and Gene Hackman. Again, these little moments that really, think of it as any kind of dinner, like steak. And the seasonings that make it taste better, that make it taste more enjoyable and more satisfying. I think that's what some people, directors, whatever, they don't realize that. But yeah, that's all subjective, I guess. So I guess a lot of this was shot in Hawaii. I mean, it works. I mean, one day I would not mind going to Hawaii. I think it'll be anytime soon, but it'd be nice one day. Oh, I have to wonder, like, the people who live in Hawaii, I don't know if anyone who subscribes to me, watches my videos, I don't know if anyone is from Hawaii. But if you do, you let me know, how does it work, like, I have stupid questions, but like internet. I'm sure you got internet there, but like, how does that work? Well, I mean, that is a stupid question. It works like any other place, but supplies, like Amazon, like, can people in Hawaii not order from Amazon? Well, that's stupid because I order from overseas and they get shipped here. And so that's a stupid question. But it just seems like, to get stuff seems maybe be more inconvenient when you're on an island compared to other places. It's a dumb question, I know. But you seem like Hawaii's like back in the days of 1975. We got nothing here. I wonder if they have people that just like they go over there and then they never leave and they just sleep and live on the beach. Probably not, probably illegal, but I just wonder, like, you know what? I got no place to go. I'm just gonna live here on the beach. Go up there, get something to eat, right by the bay. I just may, what do you say? And then, oh, there's a hurricane. Oh, it's my turn to take a shower. I mean, I don't know. It's like late at night when I'm doing this because I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, I want to watch and do this commentary for bed. I don't want to. When people pay for requests, I don't want them to wait too long. It's the least I can do. So I apologize. When it get late at night, I get loopy. I don't do drugs, so all I have to get loopy is just be late at night. Well, now literally it's like 5 in the morning when I do this. So I'll probably do this again. Now, of course, Fred Ward's character evokes his worst fear to go right back into a tunnel. I did a nice little moment, like giving him this cross, which comes into play. Now that I think about it, comes into play at the very end because Fred Ward is holding that very dearly in the helicopter at the end of the flick, and that's because it's a gift given to him by Red Brown. Which, again, if you've never seen this film, spoilers, he's one of the characters that die at the end. Damn snakes. Why's it gotta be snakes? We're crawling in there after him. It's a big fucking snake. Not poisonous. He's like, right now I don't care it's poisonous. Like, it hurts like a sumbitch though. But I mean, the composer, James Horner, I mean, that's another guy that's gone to do quite a bit of stuff, like Gene Hackman and some of the people involved with this. Because, I mean, James Horner, I mean, this is around the time of, you had Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, then you had this movie, later on, and stuff like Aliens. I think later on, even after that, you had, I want to say Braveheart he did. Then worked with James Cameron again on Titanic. Sadly, he passed away from a helicopter crash. Very sad. Too young, way too young. Then very lush I mean, not sets, but very lush environments they were in. Definitely a great scope to the picture. I do wonder maybe there'd be people who watch this movie and if you're expecting more of a Rambo 2, and don't get me wrong, Rambo First Blood Part 2 is literally one of my all-time favorite movies. I love it. But it's a different film from this. Like Rambo 2 is more escapism, fun. This is more serious, in my opinion. And more, I would say emotional, but it's depending what emotions you want. Like Rambo 2 is more adrenaline pumping, and this is more emotional, tearjerker, that type of thing. And a lot of times I've showed it, I've told people about this. They say they got a bit choked up by the end. I think that really is a testament to how these characters, these actors play their roles very well. and just really grew to like and care about him. And then also with Gene Hackman, you care about him and his plight, and just the heartbreaking reveal. Yep, there are POWs there. This guy's, what the fuck? That was a weird LSD hallucination. Fred Ward playing being Sam Fisher. If you're that great Sam Fisher, you go in and kill everybody with a knife. They're working on the Barrett side of the river, out of sight. Because the whole place seemed empty, but yep, they are there. There are actual POWs. Looking worse for wear. And it shows that these guys are going to, do something for the greater good. Not just for the greater good, but, just something that means something. Not just for themselves, but, for their fellow buddy, their fellow man. Sorry if there's quiet spots through it. It's hard to talk consistently through hour and a half, 2 hours, however long. It's tough to do that. At least for me. Because, I mean, I didn't make the film, so I have, you know... And pretty much a chunk of this, sort of the calm before the storm, or calm before the shit really hits the fan for the finale. Because here we are about an hour and 17 minutes. And it's an hour and 44 minutes. Then you think like four minutes of credits. So technically about maybe 23 minutes until the end credits. And a chunk of that's going to be the action sequences, so... I'm going to keep it going. I'm just going to get something to drink, so I'll be right back. I'm just keeping it going so it doesn't ruin the timing of the video. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Alright. And there we go. So I just got myself a drink. Wash my hands, because in this day and age, it'd be Wish. I don't even know it was fucking called Wish, but you gotta be prepared. That's my motto. Be prepared. Oh, that's a great sound. Yeah. Yeah, just drop the fucking cap. I know it's stupid of me to do that after washing my hands, but I just... Despite my appearance, I'm actually a clean individual. Despite me itching my nose, I actually do care about my hygiene. As our tears are preparing to get the helicopters they need. Mass for the gas, mass for the gas. I just the other like POW films that come out, you had Missing in Action, which is a pretty solid Chuck Norris film. I would say I prefer Missing in Action 2 the beginning, but I like the first Missing in Action. Rambo for Sport Part 2 I love, I adore. I'm a big Rambo fan, hence the Rambo cap. What else? There's POW The Escape, which I barely remember, and I think I have seen it with David Carradine, but I don't remember much about it. There's been other ones that are much more lower budget or were like Italian action films. Either they're maybe not POW but Vietnam movies. Platoon I liked. Hamburger Hill I really enjoy. I think it's really solid. Full Metal Jacket, wonderfully directed by Stanley Kubrick. Casualties of War, wonderful performances by Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. I didn't think it's just not working out the way they want to. Like the batteries, I mean, which makes sense that it's not going to all work out perfectly. Like this thing here, like, oh fuck, the battery needs fixed. And this one asshole is fucking things up for everybody. Sniper there. And it isn't each one doing their job. Each one's given some kind of responsibility and not deemed useless. You had Gene and Tim getting the sniper. You had Harold getting one chopper. The others keeping the other bad guys down. Oh, this asshole. There's no way a tree lady. Get the fuck off here, you piece of shit. It is these little moments that make it work, like her giving this, you know, that. Again, that's a nice little moment there. Again, attention to detail. I appreciate this little attention to detail. I'm laughing because I remember Tim Towers' reaction to this. To this little hitchhiker on this helicopter. Don't be a hitchhiker on a helicopter. Otherwise, this is going to happen to you. Oh. Okay, fucker. This is what you get, man. Nice stunt. I mean, hang off a helicopter and slam yourself into a hut? I mean, not the easiest thing to do. Well, maybe you'll let gravity do its work, but you know, to do that, I mean. Yeah, nice work by James Horner. We got the helicopters. Let's go on home. And now, I don't want to be so silent. I apologize for that. I think the thing with the 80s, why so many people gravitate towards them in an action movie front. Well, this is, I think, more dramatic than a lot of those 80s action films, but there's a certain dealing with the characters where nowadays we're so honed in on what do we do and not do to hopefully not offend someone, to put some kind of propaganda or some, and people think films of this age has propaganda compared to films of today. Seriously? Whether it be it's some films, it's the appreciation of excess, which is just how they were in that time of day, just part of the norm. And just the way films look, they just, to me, look better. They're more visibly appealing to me. Instead of being so clear cut that they seem almost artificial. And I do think an underappreciative is the attention to characters, whether it's characters like these that are, for this type of picture, well defined, or even a film like Rambo 2, where it's this presence, star power, that's what makes them a star. That's what made them popular, is, you know, something to gravitate the viewer towards, whether it be in comedy like Eddie Murphy, whether it be in action like Stallone or Arnold, later Van Damme and early Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris. You still have that screen presence. And also, they had to do it for real. So there's never this portion in your brain differentiating that's CG, that's real, that's fake, that's real. No, they had to do it all for real. They had to build this entire fucking place. Boom. They had to blow up this entire fucking thing right then and there. And maybe sometimes you gotta do a model work and others, or you just gotta blow the real fucking place up. It's real fire, real stuff. Not CG enhancements of smoke, fire, well, put this explosion there and there. No, you had to do it for real. And that's why it can hold up, because it's real. You can't get more real than real. See, earlier the series of bombs, here we go. A new record. 7. Yeah. And here's the cavalry. Here they go. Here they come. And things seem to be going, you know, okay, but not the best. I guess now he knows there's something. You have a patrol boat. Gotta do something. He can jump off the bridge, but I mean, look at this explosion. It's pretty big, fucking big explosion. I don't think he would have made it out even if he jumped. Now, it was one pack. I don't know why it blew up all chunks. Did it also make the other explosions blow up by that one explosion? Because like it blew up and then you see like... Did that one explosion make the others blow up, or... But anyway, sad to see Red Brown's character go. I did. That's what I mean. Like, ah, man, you enjoy and like that character. And look at that. I mean, you got real helicopters actually going all around this real location. Helicopter in frame of the towers. That's not done green screen. It's not done after the fact. It's like, no, we're going to actually have a helicopter right by a fucking hut and guns jammed. And you know, this helicopter, I mean, that's, look at that. I mean, the way this is done, like, we're going to take out this tower. I think there's like a POV shot coming. Yeah, right here. This is a really nice POV shot. It looks like, boom, they're ready to hit that fucking thing, the POV, wherever the camera was on to do that shot. You know, 4 Americans, we don't get them home. At the end, it's like, you know, they made all that planning, but just things don't come to plan. You know, they're getting ready to leave at the wrong time. What was it, Murphy's Law? Everything bad, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Well, there's one American behind you. We'll take the darn with us. It looked like there was a lot more than 4 Americans when you saw them crossing the bridge earlier this year. I'm like, there was only 4? And yeah, it looked like there was a lot more than 4 Americans. Well, there's something I'm missing. And like you said, you know, here's one that doesn't even speak English anymore. That's the second American. Here's the third one. I think that's the guy we saw earlier that was behind Gene Hackman. He didn't make it, man. And I mean, if you think about it, you know, they rescued 4 and 4 people died. Because you had Gian, his daughter, Red Brown, and Sailor. But then they rescued 4 Americans. And like, they have 3 choppers, but then 2 of them get shot down. But then each one gets their moments. Like Tim Thompson blow up that stupid fucking boat. There you go. And here Patrick Swayze. I'll kill you, you motherfuckers. And all these people at least get to make it out too. There's 1 American, 2. Sorry, now I'm getting lost in the movie. I apologize. And see that again, this is sort of the oh shit thing, because you think this is his son. I think a lot of people would assume that, yeah, this is his son, and it's like it's Robert Stack's son. And Sailor doing, the righteous thing to get those two out. I guess that's sort of the serendipitous, well, not even serendipitous, but, we first see him in jail with a grenade around his neck, and then now it's big sacrificial scene. Now they made it. I mean, Sailor could, leave and go, but it's like, I don't know, maybe just like he's made it. Come on, Sailor, get out of there. But I guess he's going to hold down the fort, and he just knows this is it. And he does take care of those guys with the those launchers. But again, the director does a nice job establishing, like the character's reaction, like Fred Ward reacting to that. I think to keep up with the human emotion of this, that's more about that than the action. And again, they set up stuff. They set up the grenade, and he's going to use it sooner or later, so this is the moment. And the Patrick Swayze thing, they're friction together, but then this moment here. Again, this is a really good script that no one talks about. Again, set up and boom, that reaction there. Now, if you had a poor script, there'd be no build-up. No build-up of the whole Swayze. There'd be no build-up to that. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? You don't know how many movies I've seen where something just comes out of fucking nowhere. It's like, you know what? That would have been nice to be built up. And it doesn't mean you have to be built up to 10th degree of Shakespearean level, but something. And this film did that. Build up all the, hey, I'm going to teach you how levels of blast. Boom, it comes back later. The whole being a tunnel rat comes back later when he's got to go through the tunnel again. The grenade around the neck. Oh, that's a crazy thing. Comes at the end here. And it's like, man, we lost really likable characters like Red Brown and, Sailor. And this is the last kick in the gut is coming up here. The last kick in the gut is here. Because the whole point at the beginning was to find Gene Hackman's son. And like they made it, but you see Fred Ward holding that cross Red Brown gave him. Her dad is gone. And these four just like, wow, can't believe we're here. And you get all that without dialogue, just if you follow the movie. And they play this off so perfectly. Like Gene Hackman. He did all this for his son. His son's passed away. And then this just plays off so... I mean, that's... If that's not an emotional punch, I don't know what is. There have been Oscar movies that have won, been nominated, that have not had any amount of significant emotional punch than that did there. I could name me multiple Oscar winners. I could say this movie beats that in spades, in that emotional punch. And that look of, why couldn't that be me and my son? But now he sees his wife, and at least he now knows. It's not a question mark. He knows. They did something, they saved some people, and he does know. And, that's better than not knowing. And then you got the song Brothers in the Night by Ray Kennedy, which I think is a beautiful song. Gene Hackman's Kona Rhodes, fantastic actor. Fred Ward, love you in Tremors and Tremors 2, man. Red Brown, the ultimate yeller. Randall Tets Cobb, great job, man. A lot of fun. Patrick Swayze, man. May you rest in peace. Miss you. Hal Sylvester, you did a really good job too. I don't want to let that go by. Tim Thomerson, love you in the Transfer movies and Doll Man, underrated character actor. Robert Stack, may you rest in peace. Kwan Hee Lim as Jan. Lan Da Lei as Lei Fan. Standing tall, I believe in 100. See, Michael Dukoff in the cast. You're like, Michael Dukoff? I did. During the plane scene, yellow jumpsuit. Putting the bags into the plane. Again, it sucks that there's no fucking features on this movie. Wayne Hauser, associate producer, he had nothing to do with producing this film. They just put his name in there, I guess. I wrote the script and didn't get credit for the story or whatever, so they put his name as that. Whatever. But I mean, yeah, but who knows how much the script's been changed from the original. I mean, maybe this writer did bring something to the table as well, and then if John Milius and others brought to it, maybe the original script would be very different than what we got here, so you never know. But yeah, I love this film. I adore this film. I have said this countless times. I think this is one of the most underrated films of all time. And that's a bold statement to make. This is one thing to say, underrated film, or the most underrated film of that year. But it's like, of all time, Matt? Yes, I strongly believe that with this movie. To me, this is one of the most underrated films of all time. To me, what do you want in a movie? You got great cast, wonderful acting, very likable characters, levity, humor. You got well done practical action scenes, but you still keep them with the emotional core of the story. Awesome score by James Horner. May he rest in peace. Beautiful song at the end. Brothers in the Night by Ray Kennedy. And an emotional but satisfying ending. Satisfying, and it's not a cheap shot. It's earned. That emotional ending is earned. And it's a gut punch, but at the same time, the way he looks at his wife and all that stuff, there's... I don't want to say hope, but there's relief. There's... I didn't know the truth. And... be able to move on. Michael Dukoff, Blaster's assistant. Again, that made people confused, like, where is he on the beach scene? Like, the first time we see Red Brown's character. No, it's later on. Brother in the Night, Ray Kennedy. Sunshine of Your Love, written by Jack Bruce, Peter Brown, Eric Clapton. But yeah, Ray Kennedy loved the song. I remember for years searching for this song. Years. Back before well before YouTube. Like back in 2001, 2002, 2003, just desperately looking for this song. Is there a way to buy this song? Now you can find it on YouTube and it's fine, but yeah. Awesome movie. Still holds up to this day. And if you haven't seen the film, I recommend watching it without this stupid commentary. But thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.